Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Luening, Horst Luening. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have the content of my bar cabinet. Yes, so typically people ask, what do you have in your bar? Because if we know what you're having in your bar, then we're able to copy that, and then we will have the best experience for whiskey ever. Well, if your taste is comparable to mine. That's not always the case. Be careful. So I looked into my bar and, well, I was a little bit shocked because first, there wasn't that much in it. And second, there had been very old bottles in the very back. And, well, one of it turned bad already. So I have to dump it. And yeah, the others I will show you shortly. But a word before, I typically taste here whiskies every now and then. And those bottles typically stay at home for a few days until they go back. And during those few days, I take one or two in between if those whiskies were really good. So there had been... So I have the chance to have the best whiskies. You know our best whiskies of every month, our whiskey awards of Whisky.com. And I typically have a few drams of those best whiskies of the month and decide then which are the best. So what else is in my cabinet typically is for my friends and my relatives. So when they come over Easter or Christmas, then we share a few drams, and well, it might be a year or two or five in which we will not have a single dram out of those bottles. So it's a little bit difficult, and my bar is not representative. So please be a little bit careful if you try to copy what I have. So first is the Glenfarglass on the very left side, the Glenfarglass 1993. This is a very special bottle because it was individually bottled for our company, because our company was founded in 1993. We had in 2018 our 25th anniversary, and Glenfarglass was so friendly to bottle 8,000 bottles for us, and all those bottles are sold out today. And this one is very intense and has a bit more of first fill sherry cask influence than the typical Glenfarglass 25 has. But if you think how it might taste, then have the 25-year-old. It is very close by, but not that deep, not that intense, not that oaky. The next one is the Tulip Bardin, triple oak, I think it's called. Triple wood edition, and matured in Muscatel, white port and Sauterne casks. It's distilled 2007 and bottled 2021. And this is called the Murray, and this is the Marquess Collection. And this is an exclusive bottle for our company, 46% ABV, uncolored, a wonderful piece. And you see this bottle made its way through our staff, and everybody had a little bit of that. So, well, it's good. Next one is a little bit older and stays in my cabinet for some years now. This is a very rare bottle, a Milton Duff von Gordon MacPhail in the old bottle. And it's a cask strength of 60.4 ABV, distilled in 1994 and bottled in 2016. So this is already 4 years old, and it's a first fill puncheon, and dark, intense, wonderfully made. And Milton Duff is typically not in the focus of the people because the distillery is for the blended whiskey industry and is quite unknown. But Gordon MacPhail had selected wonderful casks of this distillery. So the next is, which take I next? Again, another older bottle, the McGibbon's Provenance, which is which no longer exists. And this is a Blair Ethel, 12 years old, bottled in 2011, distilled in winter 1999, 46% ABV from independent bottler. With this distillery, the Blair Ethel, I have a closer relationship, well, from my personal opinion, not with the officials, because this was one of the early distilleries I had visited and had whiskies off, and the Bell's blended whiskies have the Blair Ethel as a lead malt in it, and I like that Blair Ethel distillery very, very much. It's a wonderful distillery, and the the malt whiskey has a wonderful character. It's a typical Highland malt, and I tasted that one in a tasting here in front of the camera, and it was so good that I said, well, this bottle stays with me and I will not give it away. Next one is a mistake I made, and a expensive mistake. This is a Glengrand 1962. It was bottled in 2008, and I had that bottle quite a long time, partly filled, and now it moved back and back and back in my cabinet, and now there's only very few, 2 or 3 grams left in it, 3-4 grams left in it, and it's very cloudy. There's residue in it, and it looks awful, and I hope I'm able to filter it through a tea filter so that it becomes clear again, but I don't know if it works, and there had been a lot of air in the bottle, so that it will be fully oxidized. Well, after 46 years of maturation in a cask, typically the whiskey is completely oxidized because the cask breathes and sucks in fresh oxygen, and well, it's breathing. The air goes out and in. Yeah, so this is, I try to have it in the next days, but I think it's no longer worth it. So what's next here? I do have a Nevis here in a dark wooden box, and this Nevis is 25 years old, has 47.1 ABV, and no, it's 100 proof, yes, but it's cask strength, 25 years old, sherry cask matured. It's a wonderful bottle, which I started to taste, and then I said I put it aside because I will have it later on. So now it stands here for some years, and it's vintage 1991, so and bottled in April 2017. So it's time for me to approach this bottle, but typically I have enough tasting here whiskies in front of the camera, so it will take some time. So next relatives and friends which are coming will have some dreams of that. Yeah, next one is a 20-year-old Glengoyne. Comes in this heavy, thick hardwood box, probably oak, and this is too hefty for me. Well, and that means a thing, because it's a first fill sherry cask, 20 years of age, and that's European oak. Definitely, it's written on it, and you taste it because it had so much tannins in it, so heftily bitter and aftertaste, and you do not dare to take a second dram because otherwise your toothbrush will lose its fight against that whiskey in the evening. So this is massive, and it's from 1998 until 2018, and so we weren't able to get more out of that bottle than this because it's so massive and intense. The better one is the 21-year-old Glengrand, which I have here, which comes in a normal card box. I don't know if the card box and the wooden box is still there because those bottles are a few years old and they typically, or the distilleries typically change the outer appearance of the boxes and everything. Typically the content of the standard bottlings, like this 21-year-old, stays the same, the selection of the casks, not with this special bottling of 20-year Glengrand, so the 21-year-old. And this is more American sherry oak, so this is much more comfortable to your tongue and to your tasting buds than the other one. Yeah, is there another one left? Yes, there's a last one left. And this is this wonderful bottle. It's a black Bowmore, 42 years from the, how it's called, the trilogy, the very, very last black Bowmore. And this is 42 years old and has this wonderful made box. And here we have the rest of the black Bowmore, probably 35–40% in the bottle. And I opened that bottle in 2016. I was able to drive a world record with my Tesla P85D, which means drive the maximum mileage in 24 hours, including recharging the car. And that had been 2,424 kilometers. And this record stayed for all electric cars for, I think, 2 years until a Model 3, Tesla Model 3, beat it. And in that Model 3, well, I was allowed to drive a round during the world record attempt, so that as well went to me. But then the Porsche and another Model 3 performance took the world record away from me again. Yeah, so, and whenever there's a very big event in my life, I take a few sips of this one, and my son drove that world record with me because 24 hours on a single person is not healthy. So one of us slept and the other drove. So this was a wonderful event, and this is a holy grail for us, or for me. Yeah, that's it, what I have in my cabinet, in my bar cabinet. It's not that particular good. There's only one smoky bottle in it, the Bowmore 42, and that's that old that the smokiness went down a little bit. So you see that I'm preferring the not smoky. This was different in earlier years. So first, I avoided the smokiness, had normal whiskies. Then I went over to Islay with all the smoky whiskies. And then I came back again to the normal ones. And there is no perfect whiskey for me, not my best whiskey, probably the Black Bowmore. But it's a journey. You start with one whiskey or with a typical kind of whiskey, then you change over, then you come back again, then you try the other one. And from every month, I find best whiskies, which we have in our Whisky Awards, Whisky.com Whisky Awards. And from those, I keep a bottle for a few days, as I said, and have some sips again, so that there is enough change during my consumption. And the whiskies in those bottles tend to become too old. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. There's more to come.